So you're thinking about living in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley, but you don't necessarily want to live in a larger town like Harrisonburg or Stanton or Waynesboro. Well, in this series of videos, I'm going to take you on a tour of the smaller towns between Harrisonburg and Stanton so that you can have a better idea of what the homes look like in these areas and what the towns have to offer as well. And if you hang around to the end of this video, I'm going to take you to an actual volcano right here in the Shenandoah Valley. And you probably don't want to miss out on that. And we're going to get started right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, playing here in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia, and all of Virginia's mountains and valleys, then click on that subscribe button and touch that bell icon so you can be the first to be notified about all the current real estate market here in Virginia's mountains and valleys. Hi, my name is Stephen Gleason along with my wife Leslie, and we get phone calls and emails every day from folks just like you, and you, and you, and you, who are looking to move to Virginia's mountains and valleys. We absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move or move across town in 9 days or 90 days, just pick up the phone and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. That information is all in the description down below, and we'll be happy to help you make your move to or out of the Shenandoah Valley as smooth as possible. Now, as I mentioned, today we're going to look at a couple towns between Stanton and Waynesboro. Today we're going to look at the town of Dayton and the town of Mount Crawford. And right now I'm actually just on the fringe of Dayton here, and I'm in front of the Silver Lake Mill. The Silver Lake Mill was nominated as Dayton's second historic district on the National Register of Historic Places. It's also on Virginia's Civil War Trail, and this mill behind me actually started use 201 years ago in 1822. Above it here, you'll see above this waterfall where the spillway comes out, there's a beautiful lake here, which is fed by 2 million gallons of water daily, and it's also stocked with rainbow trout by the Virginia Department of Wildlife. A little bit about Dayton. Dayton is about 10 minutes southwest of Harrisonburg. It's right along Scenic Highway 42, also known as Scenic Highway, and it is more or less a bedroom community for Harrisonburg, but there's still a lot of nice homes here in the area, both old and new, if you wanted to live in the Dayton area. So that being said, let's just go ahead and I'll take you around the town, show you a little bit of the town, and I'll also get you into our first neighborhood and show you our first home. We're in our first neighborhood, so to say, actually in Dayton. It's kind of interesting. Like a lot of towns, they started by building right in the town center, and you're just going to find some of the older homes there in the early 1900s. And working out towards the edge of town, you're going to get later and later. And right now, we're in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s neighborhood. And going out, there's new developments as well, as is the case with many of the towns out here in the Shenandoah Valley. But like I say, right now the neighborhood that we're in, you're going to see a lot of ranch-style homes. You're going to see some split-foyer homes and just some different types of homes. As far as business and industry goes, one of the biggest employers here in the area is Cargill. Of course, they're a food processing place, and actually my father-in-law ended up working for them after their mill sold out to Cargill many years ago, and so worked for them for quite a few years. Just a little interesting tidbit, but like I say, the homes here in the area, a lot of them are brick, and the one home that I wanted to show you here in just a second falls into the category of a 1960s home, and I'll just turn around right here and show it to you. And this home it's actually has a contract on it. Currently it was listed for $394,900. It was built in 1962. As you can see, it's a ranch style home. It has 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, and it has 1,874 square feet of finished living space, and all that's above ground. If you break that down, it's about $200 a square foot, and it sits on about a third of an acre lot. Couple of neat things about it, in the master bedroom, it has some tray ceilings in it, which is really nice. A nice sized walk-in closet, and from the back deck you got some nice scenic views. So, but like I say, that's this particular house here, and Dayton, like I say, it's a town of a population of about 1,600 people, and just a really nice, you're surrounded by country landscape, and you literally 2 minutes, you're outside of the town, and you're looking at beautiful mountain views like some that you're going to see in the video here today. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go on over to one of the newer neighborhoods in town, and I'll show you one of the houses there that you can get here in this area. So another really nice thing about the town of Dayton, although it's a small town, it has 2 or 3 small parks in it, and it's kind of a neat little thing that you don't often find in a lot of small towns. But right now we've moved a little bit toward the west side of town here, and there's a couple different neighborhoods that are newer neighborhoods, Willow West and South Breeze Estates. And as you can see behind me, the homes are more newly built. Most of them are built between 5 and 20 years ago on average. And matter of fact, looking across the street here, and you can see there's new construction going on right now, and so still building here in the neighborhood. As far as the average price of the house goes here, you're looking probably in the $400,000 to the $500,000 range for most of the homes here, although you can find some houses here that are a little bit more than that, and some that are probably a little bit less as well. That being said, I just want to show you up here. We're coming to the end of this cul-de-sac here, and the home that I'm going to show you here recently sold, and it sold for $529,938. Traditional style home, as you can see, and it was built in 2002, so about 20 years old. It has 3 bedrooms and 3 baths, and it has 2,420 feet above ground living space that's finished, and 1,210 below ground that's finished. It gives you a very good sized 3,630 feet of finished square feet. But one other thing about it too is there's an additional 1,714 feet below ground that has yet to be finished. So there's a lot of room in this particular house. If you take the finished square foot of 3,630 though, you're looking at $146 a square foot, which really is a good price for a home here in the Dayton area. And as far as the yard goes, you've got a little bit of yard to work with here as well. You have almost an acre of 0.89 of an acre. Some really neat things about the home. It has 14 feet tray ceilings inside of it. Of course, there's a gas log fireplace, hardwood floors, a nice walkout basement, and you got some privacy in your backyard as well. But like I say, that being said, this is a couple of the homes in Dayton, and we'll drive through and showing you some of the town and some of the homes here in the neighborhood, and we'll move on over to Mount Crawford and see what we got over there. So we moved into the Mount Crawford area here, and behind me you'll see one of the major industries here in Mount Crawford, and that is the Dannon plant here, of course, the food processing plant. And they actually have 16 brands here in the United States, and familiar with Activia and Dannon yogurt as well. Those are just some of the brands and some of the things that they produce. But Mount Crawford itself is a very small town, and I'll drive down through the middle of town. You see how it's an old British looking type town, really, with the houses are right on the road, and it kind of goes back to the day gone by where you've really seen the horses and carriage went right up the dusty roads of the towns. And so just kind of neat that those homes are still there. Some of them are needing repair, but it's just a really neat downtown area. Another thing, Mount Crawford is a bedroom community. It's right along Highway 11, and you're very close to Interstate 81 as well. Of course, there's the town itself, which has about 523 people, but the entire zip code of 22841 has about 3,300 people living in that zip code. In addition to the Dannon, there's also another Cargill facility here that specializes in turkeys, and there's a Walmart distribution center here in the area, and there's actually Rosetta Stone, which is, you may have heard of them. They're headquartered in Harrisonburg, but they actually have a nearby office here and a facility, small facility here in Mount Crawford. So a lot going on in this little town of Mount Crawford. So that being said, we'll go ahead and take you into look at our first home, and we'll show you some of the town as we go there. So for our first home, as you can see, we're driven out into the country. And a lot of times we get asked about homes out in the country, of course, and it has some of the nicest views or some of the quietest areas, of course. But this particular home sits very near the North River, which is a tributary river of the Shenandoah River. But like I say, starting here in Mount Crawford, getting out here in the country, one of the other questions we always get asked is, what about homes? Is there any fixer-up type homes? And the home that I'm going to show you now is actually one of those homes that was on the market, and it was sold as is. So it probably has some work that needs to be done to it. And of course, if you can get into a home that has a little bit of work that needs to be done to it and fixed up, you can really recoup a lot of your equity in your home. So I'm going to walk up here the road just a little bit, and I'll get here in front of the home and I'll tell you more about it. So we're here at our focus home and here in Mount Crawford. And we're actually, like I say, outside of the town, obviously. And this particular ranch style home sold for $392,500. It was listed for more than that. It was listed for $435,000, but it was only on the market for 29 days. It was built in 1976. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. As far as finished square feet, though, it has a lot of finished square feet. It has 3,062, 1,845 of that is above ground, 1,217 is below ground, so you got a lot of room here. And if you break that down, that's about $128 a square foot. One of the biggest sellers, though, that probably helped this house sell is the fact that it has 3.3 acres of land with it. So a lot of folks looking to get out in the country have a little bit of land to do something. And sometimes you can get into a house that maybe has a few things that needs to be fixed up, and you can build some equity, and you can have a nice home. And like I say, right now, I mean, exteriorly, the home looks like it's in pretty good shape as it is. So with that being said, it just gives you an idea of the type of home out here in the country in Mount Crawford for just under $400,000. We're here in our next neighborhood. We actually come back into Mount Crawford, and matter of fact, kind of real neat to get to this neighborhood. There's actually a way you go right through the middle of town, and literally it's like a single track road between the houses right in Mount Crawford here. But this is called North River Landing, and the homes in this neighborhood, there's not very many, maybe a dozen, 15 or so. And but that's what you'll find out here in the valley. A lot of times you'll find somebody that's sold a piece of land, maybe a large piece, maybe a smaller piece, and the developer will develop that land. Most of the homes here in North River Landing were built in the late 90s, a couple in the early 2000s. And the home that I'm going to show you here in just a second, it was recently sold here in the neighborhood. And one of the nice things about it is it's on a cul-de-sac as well. So we're here at our focus home, like I said, at the end of the cul-de-sac here, and this home was recently sold, this colonial style. It sold for $597,000, and it was only on the market for 12 days. It was built in 1999. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. It has 2,775 feet of above ground finished living space and 1,247 below ground. That's a 4,022 square feet of living space. That's about $148 a square foot. And the nice thing about it is, you see there's really not a whole lot behind you, and it sits on a little over 1 acre lot, 1.02. It's got a nice basement apartment in it as well that you could use if you wanted to. Has an open kitchen concept, has a breakfast bar, and just a lot of perks in this particular home. So like I say, just a really nice home here in the Mount Crawford area. So, but that being said, I got to take you to another place because I would be remiss if I did not take you there. So hang on, we'll be right there in just a second. All right, so this is what I said I would be remiss without showing you, and that is Smiley's Ice Cream, a landmark here. Well, it's in Bridgewater now, but it used to be in Mount Crawford. It was at the Mount Crawford Creamery, but the old building, it got so popular that they had to move the location, and so they built a brand new facility here, which is really, really nice. And this is a single scoop of ice cream. Yes, that's a single scoop of ice cream, by the way. And I love taking this and just texting a picture to Leslie. I'm sure she'll love me right now since this is one of her favorite places. But anyway, Smiley's Ice Cream, great place here in Mount Crawford / Bridgewater area. So we're back just west of Dayton. And I told you at the beginning of the video that if you hung around to the end of the video, I would share with you a volcano right here in the Shenandoah Valley. If you look carefully, you've already seen that in the picture that we saw earlier in the video up by Silver Lake. But here it is, right behind me. This is Mole Hill. Don't worry, it's not going to explode. We have no risk of a natural disaster. It's a dormant volcano cone here in the Shenandoah Valley. It doesn't sit in the mountains, but it sits out in the valley, and it's significantly raised over the rest of the valley. It's one of several here in the area. You have Trimble Knob up in Highland County, and you have Ugly Mountain in Franklin County, West Virginia. So just kind of a really another neat little thing here about the Shenandoah Valley and about just the neat things that are out here. So, but like I say, I hope this video has been a help to you so that you have a better idea about the towns of Dayton and Mount Crawford. Hopefully you know a little bit more about what the towns look like and a little bit about the housing in those towns as well. And like I say, Leslie and I, we get phone calls and emails all the time looking to help folks. We absolutely love to do that. So please, whether you're moving, whether you're selling your house, whether you're buying a house here in the area, pick up the phone and give us a call. We really do want to help you make your move, whether it's into a home or out of a home, here in the Shenandoah Valley and in Virginia's mountains, as smooth as possible. And like I always say, until next time, we'll see you around town.